Wizards of the Coast has just announced a deranged new product where you can buy 60 proxy non-magic cards for the very reasonable price of $1,000. This is how Magic dies.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. My friends, I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered to discuss the most absurd thing in Magic the Gathering history and talk about how much crazier it's going to get from here. Because this is just the tip of new era insanity. My friends, mark it on your calendar because October 4th was the beginning of the new insane era of Magic the Gathering. But before I explain that part further, let's break down what it is that I'm talking about here. I've needed more than 24 hours to actually collect my thoughts to be able to make this video calmly. I've already done 2 live streams where all I did was rant and swear. Now, one of those is still up on my other YouTube channel. If you want to go and check it out, that was my initial reaction to this set where I had only just heard about it and I lost my mind. Now, I'm here to share my thoughts in a more collected way. So, Wizards of the Coast has announced a 30th anniversary product. Now, the idea behind this product is it's supposed to be a collector's item where they're taking the original set of Magic the Gathering and essentially remastering it with new borders and going, hey, you can buy this now. The original collector's edition was a $50 box set where you could get one of every card from the entirety of Alpha, right? So you got all of that. Now this new collector's edition works like this. They come in booster packs randomized, just like regular cards do. There are 15 cards per pack, not actual Magic cards, mind you. They don't have genuine Magic card backs. They do have genuine Magic card fronts, but the back is just the 30th anniversary logo. And that is so that Wizards can do this underhanded sort of Trojan horse maneuver. So this is where you can get your Black Lotus, your other power cards. You can get your dual lands, which is a point we're going to come back to because this is one that really sticks in my craw about this product. So they're tapping into the excitement of people being able to get cards that you couldn't ever get because Wizards has something called the reserve list, which says they'll never reprint Black Lotus, the Power 9 cards, none of that will ever be reprinted. And yet now we have a set where you can buy these things being reprinted. That's how people feel. Well, by Wizards' technical definition, this isn't a violation of the reserve list because they're not official Magic cards. You can't use them in official tournaments. So they want you to buy randomized 15 card booster packs so you can have the experience of original Alpha if you want to go back and play like a limited experience. Do you want to see what it's like to draft this set? It's $250 a booster pack, okay? That's if you can get them individually. If you're forced to buy them by the box, it's $999. I round up to $1,000 because I'm not in for these marketing tricks where, hey, think of it as less than $1,000. That's $1,000, bro. $1,000 gets you 60 proxies. That's all these are. What Wizards has done here is essentially taken an underhanded maneuver to enter into the proxy market where they're going, you know what? There's people selling proxies of all these power cards. And if we go ahead and reprint the reserve list, we are going to face lawsuits. There is actually a legal issue with this product as well. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the whole situation is where they go, we can't actually reprint the reserve list. But what if we make not Magic cards? You can't sue us if we print them as something else, right? We already saw a little bit of a side product with that when the Duel Masters Black Lotus came out, but that's a different beast than this because it's not being sold directly by Wizards and it's the price tag that is egregious for this. Understand that we're living in an era where Double Masters 2022 just came out, what was it, like 3-4 months ago, tops, right? And that thing was the most expensive product we had ever seen, where the most luxurious version of it, the booster packs were the equivalent of about $100. So these packs are 2.5 times the cost of that. You get no actual Magic cards. They're randomized. There's almost 300 different rares in this set that they're releasing. So the chances are you're going to get a Garbo rare. And also, talking about the chances of getting rares and stuff like that, Wizards has come out and said, hey guys, just so you know, we're not putting mythic rarity in this. We're just going to have everything having a rare symbol. But understand that the symbols that Wizards put on cards don't match the underlying secret rarity of the cards. Wizards uses something called track printing. That's how they design their sets and actually feed the algorithm to put the set together. And as a result, you ever wondered why, hey, when I open a box or multiple boxes, why is there always the worst rare in the set that I get multiple copies of? How does it always turn out that way? Well, it's by design. Not all rares at rare level are printed at equal amounts, so you'll end up with fewer of some rares. Now, I wonder what kind of rares Wizard would have an incentive to make harder to get as a result of wanting you to chase cracking these boosters. It's completely randomized. One booster pack of this costs 5 times the cost of the original collector's edition, where you got one of everything. Wizards didn't go, you know what, we're going to go $1,000 for one of everything from Alpha. It's $1,000 for 4 rares. It's for 4 rares, for 12 uncommons, and the rest are commons. You're paying $15, $16 a card here. It's absolute insanity in terms of the pricing of it. There is no genuine justification for this other than Wizards of the Coast straight up. It's like, hey, we just want to get a bunch of money for this. And they're hiding it under the guise of that this is a collector's product. But it's not. This is a secret drive towards the proxy market and Commander players. You guys may recall, especially people who've been watching the channel for a long time, I have said, careful what you wish for to Commander players because they've clamored for Wizards' attention. Please, Wizards, pay attention to us. Give us stuff for Commander, right? Now, Wizards has listened, and everything is for Commander. You can find Commander stuff stuffed in everywhere, and that's the reason that they can actually get away with making this product. It's Commander players. Here's the groundwork that led to this. Over time, the nature of Magic has changed. So, you used to have old cards where Wizards will go, we're going to release a championship deck, but we'll make it gold bordered and we'll give them weird backs. They're not Magic cards. And back in the day, everybody treated them like nothing. Nobody really cared about them. They were an oddity. No, you couldn't play with the cards. They weren't tournament legal. But it did have some crazy stuff in it, like Gaia's Cradle and other like Beef Boy cards. So over time, because there was such a demand for these cards and they were on the reserve list, it got to the point where these wonky gold-bordered versions that were literal trash before started to gain genuine secondary market value because Commander players are way more chill about what you can put in your decks. And here's where we start to see the more insidious part of this randomization collector's item product. Now, if it's a collector's item, then everything should be equally accessible, right? So you wouldn't, of course, increase the frequency of certain cards for any given reason, but that's exactly what they're doing. There's 2 types of cards that are getting an increase in frequency. One is Sol Ring, something you can find in literally every product that Wizards is cranking out now because what's the format that everybody uses Sol Ring for? Like, what do you need tons of Sol Rings for? There's this format. Everybody plays like just one of a card. Oh yeah, that's right. It's called Commander. So all of a sudden there's going to be like a higher frequency of Sol Rings in these. But the real damning part is actually when it comes to the dual lands. Because Wizards made sure to advertise these packs will have twice the frequency of dual lands. So you'll have a better chance of getting dual lands than you would. Now, I'm not sure if they're saying you have a twice as good a chance of getting dual lands than any other rare. That seems highly unlikely. Just a tweaked chance where you have double whatever the normal chance they would set is. They don't tell us percentages. We don't get to see how it's track printed. So there's no way to actually sort out underneath what any of this means. But telling us there's a higher incidence of dual lands tells you one thing. They know people want the dual lands. What's the format that everyone wants dual lands for where they would actually let you get away with using cards like this? Oh, what was it called again? Oh, that's right. It's Commander. So what this is these are basically Wizards going, we're going to sell the reserve list to Commander players and try and gut part of the proxy market as a side benefit. Let's be real. The cost they're selling it at, they're not really looking to stamp out the proxy market. If Wizards wanted to do that, they would come in with much cheaper editions. Like if Wizards really wanted to make this accessible, you make two different versions of the collectors. You have your regular, and then you have your super duper $250 pack. So the regular has your new modern frames. You want those old school ones? You go chase those in the boosters and everything, right? Like there's a way they could have done it where they could have just used regular master prices, $10 a pack. Like double masters was $20 a booster pack, $100 for a collector pack, and we're looking at $250 a booster for this, where it's literally not a collector's item. That's not the purpose of it. They could have given it to us for far less. And this, guys, remember when we talked about how they weren't going to be making a Black Lotus token for Garth, and how I told you if they ever did make like a token or a proxy Black Lotus for you to use, that it would cost insane amounts of money? I've been proven right. There are people who would say, yo, I can't wait until Wizards goes, it's time to make secret layers with dual lands in them, and then we can get a set of dual lands for $40 or $50. And it's like, you're living in a delusion. A secret layer that had genuine dual lands in it would cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. Wizards is keenly interested in paying attention to the secondary market, and they're going forth with breakneck pace here, man, to the point where it looks like they don't have all their legal ducks lined up in a row in terms of the release of this product. So basically, this boils down to the artwork in the set. You'll notice they're using original artwork, which I am a huge fan of, but also actually says, depending on the card, how much money will these be worth on the side, right? Let's say, for example, you get a Birds of Paradise from one of these super $250 boosters. It looks just like the regular ones. You can get that artwork on a ton of different cards, so it's not going to have a lot of value, but that's a side point. Anyways, with the artists, basically, Wizards went to them under the old system, all this artwork, basically it's like royalties. So Wizards of the Coast had to pay royalties for the artwork. Now I apologize if I picked up steam and it's becoming more difficult to keep up as I'm getting carried away, but I will take it down because I'm really worked up about this, all right? So Wizards of the Coast used to pay Magic artists royalties. So for every instance of that art that was printed, that artist got paid, right? Now that, when you get to the scale that Wizards of the Coast is, becomes hugely expensive. So they switched to just buying artwork outright. Now you come to them wanting to use this old art. They're never going to use it again without a new agreement because they're not going to pay royalties. So they basically go to the artist and say, yo, we're never going to use this art again. But if you like sell us the rights to use it, like you can keep the artwork, you own the artwork, but give us the rights to use it as much as we want. We'll pay you a one-time fee and we're done, right? And a bunch of artists signed up for that. But not all of them came to an agreement. So the estate of Quentin Hoover, for example, did not get on board with this. There is an ongoing conversation over on the art page run by, I believe it's Quentin Hoover's son. But either way, this was not signed off on. So it appears, and this might not be the only artist as well, it appears that Wizards of the Coast doesn't actually have, like, they haven't acquired all the rights properly for the artwork. Now, I don't know what this means legally, because maybe Wizards has talked to their lawyers and their lawyers have said, you know, it's better to have this, but ultimately we don't need it. Or maybe they're saying, yo, we're going to make so much money that even if there is a lawsuit, we'll just roll it out. But whatever it is, this feels very much like a steamroller over a ton of people. And what really bothers me as well is there's a bunch of people praising this product who are disconnected from how insanely overcosted it is. Now, if you're somebody who's wealthy enough that $1,000 for 4 boosters feels good to you, that's cool. Live your life. I am envious of you. I'm not going to try and pretend, bro, I ride the bus. I'm going to try and pretend that I'm not jealous. Somebody can drop $1,000 on those boosters. Live your life. Enjoy yourself. But here's the big problem I have. The only people defending these boosters, the only people I've seen defending these boosters are people who intend to buy them and sell them for more money. And it's all laughing about how you don't know, you're not getting in on the money. That is terrifying. This product is terrifying. I've always said before that the time I would think Magic the Gathering was done is when Wizards of the Coast reprinted the reserve list. I've said it so many times. Like, you can hear me say it in so many videos. I've told people not to worry that Magic's going anywhere unless you see the reserve list get reprinted. Now, technically, the reserve list hasn't been reprinted, and Magic right now is pulling in a ton of money. So it's not like right now they're pulling the copper out of the walls, right? But we are in a precarious position. You don't even understand how bad this is. The fact that they're trying to get you to pay $1,000 for 60 random proxy cards is mind-blowing. But this is just the beginning. Because Hasbro, when I said October 4th marks the beginning of the new era, we're on the precipice. We're here at the edge, guys. From now on, things get more costly. It's the only way things can go. Hasbro, the people who own Wizards of the Coast, announced the same day that this product was announced that they now are pushing to have a 50% increase in profits over the next 3 years. Now, this may sound similar to what we've heard recently, which was Hasbro had a target specifically for Wizards of the Coast, and it was to double revenue in 5 years. So that's a 100% increase in 5 years. Now we're looking at a 50% increase in 3 years. So you have a situation where Hasbro heavily leans on Wizards of the Coast. If you read their earnings reports, like they tout Magic the Gathering. It's one of the brands they yell about from the rooftops because it's making them a killing. They're making so much money off of it, right? So from their perspective, it's a baby who's just going to keep cranking out cash. So they're going to expect that to keep happening. So the breakneck pace that we have been on to get where we are, think about all the products that they've released. Think about all the things that have been created in the last 5 years for the mad dash for cash. We saw a massive decrease in quality, especially in the Ixalan era, that persists to this day, guys. Think about the fact that these $250 boosters will be plagued with the same problems that other ones are. If you think for a second that somehow, because these are more expensive, Wizards is going to put more care into them, then take a look at Double Masters 2022 and the endless disasters of that set with the etched foils, all the packs where everybody got an anguished unmaking. We are pretty much guaranteed to have production issues with this. Like, it's absolutely mind-boggling. So we're in an era where Wizards of the Coast right now is making more products than we've ever seen. My livelihood, my job is based around keeping up with Wizards of the Coast and telling you guys what's going on. And I can't keep up. I had to take yesterday to take care of real life stuff, and the entire world exploded. Wizards dropped this on us, a Post Malone secret layer. Everything I've seen yesterday, I had to go and confirm and double check because it all seemed like insanity, especially this product. So they haven't reprinted the reserve list, but they are grabbing for cash as hard as they can, and we're entering the period right now where profits have to go up by 50%. 50% over 3 years, 100% over 5 years are roughly equivalent as far as I'm concerned. So just to maintain the profits Wizards has already been making, they have to keep the pace they're going. That's what you have to understand. They have to increase their profits by 50% on top of what they're already doing. Wizards of the Coast has to make 50% more money continuing what they're doing and adding on to it. There's only a few ways this can go, friends. They can cut money by cutting quality. That only gets you so far, right? You got that option. You can try and make more products, have fun ordering secret layer commander decks that won't come for 6 years, and by the time you realize that and try and get your money back from your credit card company or your bank, they go, oh, sorry, we only do stuff during the first 6 months. Maybe you should have realized you were going to get hosed by this company earlier. So you'll get more secret layers. Like, it's going to be more products. Wizards won't be able to keep up with it. This is literally going to happen. And on top of that, what happens as well? You're going to have diminished quality because they're cranking them out harder and harder and harder. And even all of those things, all of those detrimental things aren't enough to get you to that 50% finish line, right? Do you know what else it takes? Price increases. Massive, massive price increases. Hasbro may have told us on October 4th they want that hike, but you better believe Wizards of the Coast was apprised of that situation way before that. Wizards of the Coast knows what's up, to the point where I was told that if I didn't come out here wearing this jacket and a shirt, they would send their bully boys with sand-filled hoses out, because we're in a new era now and they will beat me down if I don't look respectable enough to talk about their insanely expensive product. So this is the very first product we're going to see in the new era of expensive insanity. And I literally cannot predict what is next, because if you had told me 2 days ago what this $60 for, $60, I wish, 60 proxies for $1,000. If you had told me that was coming, I would have been like, that's the most absurd thing I've ever heard of. It's so outlandish, I wouldn't have even proposed it as an April Fool's joke. And I made April Fool's jokes about Wizards of the Coast shutting down and being sold to Nintendo. But I couldn't even come up with something this insane. And it's real. Like, it's non-Magic cards. You are buying 60 non-Magic cards for $1,000 and you're going to get hosed. This is just that, you know what? At this point, I'm just going to keep repeating myself. I can feel myself getting amped up. I believe I've made my points about why I feel this is a detrimental product. I know there are a wide range of opinions. Feel free to share yours. A big thank you to my patrons. If you want to chuckle and watch me splutter and swear, head on over to my Hatcher YouTube channel and watch the 20 minutes of me raging and losing my mind over the fact that Wizards announced this yesterday. Other than that, I'll be live streaming tonight, so feel free to come by, and I will see you all, my friends, in the next video.